Hi, good morning. If you hear anything in the background, that is my son Cash. That is Cashy Cash, baby Cash. And I wanted to come on here and just give you guys a little message and whatnot. I did have a whole bunch of visions this month, and I told you guys that December and April is totally different. It's I get a lot of stuff coming in April, but I also get a lot of things in December as well. I don't know what it is about it just quite yet, but I know it's deeper than what we originally think. It's always something deeper to something. And the visions that I was getting though, that was mostly about me. And that's the reason why. But that yeah, it was mostly about me, and they was just coming back to back to back to back to back. And so I've been kind of in shock as well. And I was also feeling somebody grieving. I felt somebody grieving. And so my emotions was like high. And I prayed for the person, and thank you, Jesus. God lifted it off of them either that same day or that morning. So thank you, Jesus, for that. I pray for them, and I love seeing my prayers answered, especially when I'm praying for somebody else. And I also been feeling like somebody needs to come into acceptance. I think some of this has to do with me too, but somebody has to come into acceptance of something in order to move forward, in order to do what's needed to be done. And also, I also was getting heavily to tell somebody to not allow the spirit of fear to rise up in you when you hear that you have to go through a process. And this is pertaining to deliverance. Like when somebody tell you, or if I told you, or somebody tell you that you have to go through a process with your deliverance, that is with everything. That's with everything. Don't let the spirit of fear rise up and just take control and make you not go through the process just because you feel like it's going to be a long time before this, or you just feeling like, oh, a process. Some people think process and they think, I don't know, they get scared or something. I've actually seen a person do that with me when I was telling them, okay, go through your process. But everything is a process. When a flower wants to bloom, it goes through a process. Even if you are a beautician or a hairdresser, like, you go through a process to style that person's hair, and that person's hair has to go through a process to get to the style that they desire, right? So that's with anything. That's with anything. I mean, even if you want to brush your teeth, that's a process that you have to go through. You have to get your toothbrush, toothpaste, all of that stuff. Get your water, mouthwash, and whatever you use, your floss, and all of that, and go through the process of cleaning your mouth and brushing your teeth. I mean, it's a process with everything. So don't let the enemy make you clam up and just decide, okay, well, I'm just not gonna do it since it's a process, right? And you'll know what I'm talking about, because it's probably something that has feel like it arrested your soul or something whenever you heard that word. And the enemy wants you to run just because you feel like it's going to be a process. But that's going through deliverance is one of the best processes you'll ever go through in your life. If not the best process you'll ever go through in your life. And the fight is worth it. Everything that you go through to do the deliverance, to take the steps and the initiative to get free is worth it. Because let me tell you, if you have demonic spirits, you're in bondage, and you're pretty much a slave, especially if you're in sin. I was talking to guys like I was they had me as a slave whenever I was in bondage like that, because they were controlling stuff. They was controlling my tongue a lot of times, and controlling my movements, and controlling just certain aspects of my life. There was certain decisions that was made that was not mine. It was the demonic realm's decision a lot of times, the majority of the time, and I was always being watched. I was always being watched. And so going through a deliverance process is the best process that you'll ever go through. And don't allow the spirit of fear to make you just not do it. And if you keep doing that, you're going to stay like that, and you'll never get nowhere. You'll never get nowhere, because everything is a process. And this might be something separate, but just remember too that if God told you to do something, or he asked you to do something, or gave you some type of assignment, and if he felt like you couldn't do it, like I heard this again yesterday, if he felt like you couldn't do it, then he would have never asked you to do it. He'd have gave the assignment to somebody else. You know, he can equip you and train you and everything like that. But if he knew that all of that would be for nothing, because you wasn't going to be able to do it, then he wouldn't ask you to do it at all. He would give it to someone else, someone that would be strong enough to carry the weight of whatever that thing is that he want you to do. So keep that in mind too as well. And like I said, a lot of times we have to come into acceptance of what stuff is instead of the stuff we said that we wanted. And we have to come into acceptance that the spiritual realm is the spiritual realm, and we have to do certain things in order to get to certain spaces. And this is why it's important to listen to God instead of man. Because I was thinking about this earlier this morning, the fact that a lot of times man won't tell you the right thing. Like, they'll lead you astray. To be honest, a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. It's a lot of people that do know what they're talking about. I see that all the time, but it's a lot that don't. And so it depends on who you around, but God will literally lead you to, or help you to bump into somebody that know what they're talking about, and he'll let you know and confirm that that is what he wants you to listen to and whatnot. But yes, guys, so coming to acceptance, I heard, and to don't let the word process hinder you just because you hear words and stuff like that. Don't nothing look like what it is a lot of times. A lot of times it don't look like what you think it is. This is something bigger than what we can imagine as people. So just keep that in mind. Your process and my process may be different, so try not to compare. Try not to compare, because my stuff was something else. Okay, so your stuff might not even be as bad as mine, and you may not even have to go through certain stuff that I went through to get to a certain space, and maybe you do. I don't know, but all in all, I feel like there's no need to compare circumstances like that. And if you do, let it be something small. Don't let that be your roadmap. Like, if you compare this to this, don't let that be your roadmap. Well, this happened with her, so this gonna happen with me. Like, no. You know, I've always said, I've listened to people and I was like, man, that stuff wasn't even nowhere near as bad as my stuff was. But hey, all right, y'all, I love you guys. Take care. Bye.